Hey there, YouTubers. This is Dan Strong with Excel VBA is Fun. Thanks for tuning back in. Today we have a question from Anupam Mandal, and he says that he works for, maybe I better blur that out. He works for a certain company and for the accounts payable team, and they come across lots of payment transactions. They come in the form of an email in a text form, a .txt file like from Notepad, as an attachment, and currently they open the emails manually. They copy and paste the data into Excel. Is there any way to import these transaction details directly from my inbox into Excel? So Anupam, I want to address that. That's an excellent question. Now, as for taking it directly from, I don't know if you're using Outlook or what kind of email you use. As for that, that would depend on if your Excel can actually access that temporary directory or wherever that actual attachment is located deep down, buried deep down in your Outlook dot something rather, you know, an OST or a PST or one of those weird files that maybe um, that file lives. Who knows? In Outlook, I know those attachments are buried in some temporary directory or something. But yeah, you can do some things with text files. So we're going to address that right now. In fact, I'm going to go to my desktop and I'm going to open up a Notepad, N-O-T-E, there we go, here's Notepad. So let's create a text file, not message. So let's say Dan, comma, 100%, comma, and we'll say blue, okay, and then hit enter. So that creates a new row. And this is in the event that you have a comma-separated text file. You might have a tab-separated text file, which is separated by tab keys. And you can save them this way, either way, from Excel as well. We'll do that in another video. So the next one is, let's see. Let me go up a little bit. Let's do the column headers. Name, comma, score, comma, fave, space, color. Okay. And then we have this next line. We'll just do one more. We'll say Helen, and she got a 28%. Oh, Helen, you need to study more, my dear. But her favorite color is green. Okay, so now we have a text file. We're going to go to File. We'll Save As, and I'm just going to save it on my desktop, make everything simpler. Save it on the desktop. We're going to give it a name. The name of the file shall be test file. How about testfile.txt? Hit save. Okay, so we have saved a comma-separated text file. In fact, I'm going to place it right here, testfile.txt. If you open it up, there it is again. But let's go to Excel. So I'm opening up Excel, and here we are. Beautiful, isn't it? Alright, so we're going to do let's record this. Okay, go to your developer tab if you don't have that open. If you don't have a developer tab, check out my basic series. We'll show you right off the bat how to get that on there. Alright, we're going to record a macro. Why? Because we need to know the exact code on kind of what we're doing and how to tweak that code. We're going to go to File. We're going to go to Open. Okay, and go to the directory where you just saved your file. I'm going to go to my desktop. And I'm going to look for that little text file. Oh no, it's not there. Why? Because it says all Excel files. We want to change that to all files, or perhaps you just want to look at text files. But let's just do all files just for good measure, and we'll fish for it. It is testfile.txt. Here it is. So when you click open, if Excel is doing its job, it's going to bring up this text import wizard. It's freaking awesome. So, and that's lovely because you'll need to set your settings, and assuming that you're always going to be importing the same type of text file, this will be handy because what we do here, will tell Excel, and in the VBA that we were recording right now, it'll tell it exactly what we want it to do. So we're going to choose, excuse me, we're going to choose delimited, meaning every single column is separated, delimited. In this case, they're delimited or separated by commas, which makes it easy for Excel to divvy them up, just like in the text to columns feature that Excel has in the data ribbon. So they're not a fixed width. they're delimited. Hit next. They're not tab delimited, but if they were, that would be also very easy. So do comma. How about comma delimited? And look there. You got name column, score column, and the favorite color column. Hit next. Okay, so here's where we divvy up. They basically tell you it's either a generic or a general formatting, a text, or a date. Okay, or you can skip that particular column. So the first one, I really don't care. I could just say text, but you could just leave it generic unless it's numerals. Like if it's percentages or if it's numerals, you want to leave it as general, the first type. So, and also remember this, okay, if you can, or just remember basically that general is 1, text is 2, and date is 3. There's a reason I'm mentioning that they're in that order, because whenever you look at the import features, it's not going to say general, it's not going to say text, it's not going to say date. It's going to have like a 2 for this column, and for this column, let's say general, because it's not a date and it's not text. So this one would be a 1. So we have 2, comma 1, comma, and that's also text. So 2, comma 1, comma 2. And you'll see that in just a second. Let's go ahead and go to finish. And if you look there, what do you know? We've just imported a text file, and it's beautifully done here. So what does that mean to you? That means we're going to stop recording by clicking the stop recording in the developer tab. Stop recording, and let's take a look at what that just did to our text file, because I think you're going to find this pretty sweet. Hit Alt F11 please. We are now in the Visual Basic Editor, and we want to see what was just recorded. And where the crap is it? Did I record it in my personal one? I did. How bizarre. Well, whatever. I'll go ahead and see if I can. I'm going to copy that module over here, and then I'll remove that module from my personal workbook. No, I don't want to save, aka export it, so no. Okay, now that module is right here in our handy dandy. Oh, well, we actually have the test file.txt open as if it were a workbook, so we'll probably have to save it in a minute. As a, I don't know, as an Excel file, but that's no problem. So here we are. We had, first of all, I click around a lot, so forget the range H13. It's basically selecting cell H13. Don't worry about that. Then we had a chdir. The chdir is basically changing the directory or the file path to right there, to my desktop. And that's okay if it's always going to be in your desktop. Otherwise, you may have to put some variables in there and wiggle that around. But if you have an exact spot that you want it to go to look for the files, or if you want to do one of those get file name things that we can address in another video. But basically, once you have the file path set up, whether it's dynamic or if it's static, then you see this code. This is the kicker right here. Workbooks.open text. So not workbooks.open. It's a special thing here. Workbooks.open text. And then it has the file name, equals, and this was the file name, desktop/testfile.txt. And then the origin is 437, whatever the heck that means. Just leave it. I think that's like maybe ANSI standard text or something. Don't worry about that. Just leave that. If you're going to copy and paste this, just leave it. Starting row equals 1. Leave that. Data type equals XL delimited. Yes, it's delimited. And the text qualifier equals XL double quote. So if it's got double quotes, then it's text, and you don't see it. But when they're comma separated, it does put quotes around the text. Anyway, don't worry about that stuff. Why am I rambling? Consecutive delimiter equals false. So basically, any check marks that you checked are going to be true, and anything that you didn't check is going to be false. And you notice the only one that we did check says true, which is the comma equals, and that little thing just means follow on to the next line. So comma equals true. So we see that it's comma delimited. Very simple there. Field info equals, and here's your array pattern. Now here, remember when we were talking about this, we were talking about column 1 and column 2 and column 3, and that 1 was general, or excuse me, 1 was general, 2 was text. So we see that here. The array, and then inside the array we have the first array, so basically the first column follows this pattern. It is column 1, and here is the, we want it to be text based. Remember, number 2 is text. And then basically this array thing just means that column 2 is general, and not a date, which is 3, and not text, which is 2. And then finally the third column, as you can see right there, was a text, and column 3, it was number 2, which is text. So that's all this stuff means. So that's basically, yes, you can have a bunch of text files, and if you know how to loop through files in a directory, or figure out certain files that you want to get, you can make that as elaborate as you want with your coding. But yes, you can actually open these, and then you know, if you watch my other videos, you learn how to copy data from one workbook to another, or save a new workbook. In fact, we worked on that in just a previous video or two ago. For a gentleman, we actually had data generate and save all these files. In fact, we'll just go ahead and do that. We could have this code run in a workbook, and then end with active workbook dot save, or dot save as, and then let's do dot save as, and then we'll say file name colon equals, and let's just save this directory. I like that. It's gonna get mad at me, but I'm just gonna copy that, and we'll save it as an Excel file name. How about testfile.xlsx, and then we'll say active workbook dot close space, and then we'll use the save changes feature here, colon equals, and we're just going to say true. That way we don't want the prompt to come up and say, do you want to save changes? No, we want it to be automatic. So let's actually just copy this macro. Since we have the text file open right now, we kind of want to do that fresh and new. So let's do a file close, don't save. Okay, now let's go to file, new, let's do a blank workbook, create. Okay, so now let's go hit Alt F11. We're going to in this new shiny workbook, we're going to go into a new module, and we're going to paste that macro that we had just copied to the clipboard. Let's run through it step by step, shall we? So hit F8. So now we are changing to directory, to desktop. That doesn't matter really right now. And then we're opening that test file.txt. And now this you might want to make dynamic. Take away the quotes and just put some variables in there, or however you want to address putting the file name in there. And then all this is already set up exactly the way we want it, comma separated. And here's this text and general and text for column 3. So hit F8. It just opened up our text file, right? And then we do an active workbook save as. You might want to use some variables instead of hard coding this as well. But I'm going to hard code it for now. So look up here. I'm going to hit F8, and it's going to save it as testfile.txt. If you don't believe me, let's just change that to super awesome text import.xlsx. So now I'm going to hit F8 and look up here. Hit F8. Okay, we've just saved what it looked like to be a text file as an Excel file, and it looks just like that with our columns, right? So activeworkbook.close, save changes equals true, so it's not even going to bother. It's just going to close Excel. So watch this. I'm going to hit F8, and shazam, it just closed that particular workbook. And of course, book 2 is still open, but the one that we just created is saved to my desktop, and hit F8. And so let's minimize all that. Let's look on my, look here on my desktop. Super awesome text import.xlsx. Let's double click on that. Blah, blah, blah. Well, they didn't like that. Okay, fine. They're going to be mean about it. Let's, okay, we better figure out what happened. Let's troubleshoot. Put on your thinking caps. You probably already see what happened, but I don't. What I'm going to propose that we do then is that we run this code again, and when we get right here, I'm going to go ahead and stop. I'm going to record on this particular test file. I'm going to call this save as Excel file, because I want to know what went wrong. So we have a text file open properly, and now I want to save as, and I want to save it on the desktop, and I want to see what went wrong. So I'm going to give it that name that I wanted it to be. I want it to be an XLSX file, and we'll just leave it at that. No, we won't. I want to name it that. Dang it. So we're going to call it super awesome text import 2, and I'm going to compare. See what happened. So hit save. Now they didn't give me crap about it that time, did they? All right. So let's try to open that again. We're going to open the one called super awesome text import 2. This is the one that we did manually. And remember, we recorded the code just now. In fact, let's hit stop recording. I want to view that before I open this. Recorded right here. Okay, fine, we can do that. We need to use this active workbook.save as file name equals same crap that I did a minute ago. And then comma file format equals XL open XML workbook, comma create backup equals false. Fine, if they want to be picky about it, fine by me. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this good stuff here, at least everything after what we already did, and we'll take a look at the original. Save as file name equals blah blah blah. Copy all this stuff here, and now we'll try what we originally tried to do. So here we go. Let's see. Let's delete these two just for good measure. Delete these two, the failed one and the good one here, and let's do it ourselves. Hit F8, 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 F8. There's opening the text file. There's saving it as that workbook with all the fancy new coding that we had to add. And then there's closing it and saving the changes and ending it. Okay, now let's open it, see if they liked that a little bit better. Double click on it, and magically there it is, and they're okay with it now. Well, a little quirky, but whatever. And would you look at that, test file is the name of that worksheet all of a sudden. So that's kind of cool. Alright, now the final test is, of course, erasing this or deleting that file. And what we need to do is hit Alt F11. We need to run this. We need to just hit F8 and just run the dang thing. Are you ready? I'm hitting F8. I can't watch. No, I'm just kidding. Hit F5. Ready? Bam. Alright, opened it, saved it, closed it. Let's check it out. Yep, there it is. So to answer your question, I hope that answers your question, Anupam. But basically, you can have just set up the rules and the columns and everything that you want. And then yes, you can actually loop through all the files in a certain folder that you saved all your attachments to or whatever. But it's advisable to use Excel to do that. You can do that. In fact, if you want to open the first text file and then you can have a loop through there and have it basically copy or filter the information that you want from that into another master Excel workbook and just keep adding rows and then automatically close that text file. You go to the next one that you wanted to loop or whatever, or you can just have a thing like a file open. Gosh dang it! You know what? I ought to show you. All right, if you're bored, turn off this video. But basically, I want to show you, and right before anything else happens, I need to do a file save as. I need to save this workbook as an Excel macro enabled workbook, and we're going to call this one import text files to Excel. So if you're looking for that workbook, it is available for free in my Dropbox, in my downloads section, in my Excel VBA shared workbooks. You'll see the link to that in my video description. So I'm saving this, that way we don't lose all our code that we've been working on. You can download that right now, and you can see all the code for yourself, and you can, of course, maybe the name of your desktop would probably not be C users Daniel desktop. You'd want to replace that with whatever your actual desktop directory is. That being said, and of course you'll have to put a test file.txt on your desktop. But anyway, now I want to just show you how to get an open file thingy majigger. So, gosh, that sounds very technical, doesn't it? Here we go. Just check this out. I'm going to say application dot get open file name. So I'm going to hit tab. And let's see, I think I just need to, I don't have any filters, I don't want to put any particular title. But we can go into more on that in another video. So just do the quotes here. Now, why they gave me crap about that is because I need a variable. So let's say fname equals, so it's going to be my file name variable, fname equals application.getOpenFileName. And then I'm going to put a stop marker after that part runs. So I'm going to hit F5, and you're going to see what happens. It's going to prompt me to select a file. And when it does, after I select that file, it's going to stop so that we can take a look at this macro. The reason I'm showing this is because we're going to replace this file with whatever fname is at the time that you select it. And then we'll just shove fname right here, and then the rest will open whatever random text file that you decide to open. Or you could even do a loop with this or something. So that's how we roll. Let's do it. Hit F5. Okay. So you see what happened there? When the macro started running, it opened up a prompt, and it changed the directory to my desktop, and it asked me to select a file. And I'm going to say this one. So I'm going to either double click or I'm going to click it and hit open. So I will double click because I like to do that. And you see, if you hover over fname equals C users Daniel desktop / test file.txt. That's the very one we've been playing with, right? So rather than using this hard-coded crap here, let's just make that fname like we told it to be called. And if you hover over that, you see the file name that's going to open is that one. So if you hit F8, you see that it opened up fname, which is the test file. And so hit F5. It's going to say there's already one called that. Do you want to replace it? Sure, why not? So anyway, we just did the same thing that we worked on, but now it's a little more dynamic. Now we can make this, and we can even, you can have the name of this file that's saved be a dynamic as well. Of course, anything that has a quote can also be replaced with a variable. So you could have like the date and combine that with whatever, or a certain location, or a certain whatever. Anyway, this, I'm going to save what I just did, and as you can see right there, it is updating your Dropbox file. So check out the workbook if you want to download it. It's in my Dropbox folder, and it's called Import Text Files to Excel.xlsm. So be sure and check that out. Be sure and hit subscribe if you want to get more awesome videos about Excel VBA and all the fun toys and all the fun tricks you can do. And be sure and like this video by clicking the like button below if you liked it. If you don't like it, you sure don't have to. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to message me or type them in your comments below. Anyway, it's Dan Strong with Excel VBA signing out. Anupam, I hope that helped you. I hope that helps a bunch of people. So, God bless and good night.